What insider secrets does the company you work for not want its customers to find out? That Sabre printer you have? It will catch on fire. The major gym chain that I worked for actively tries to discourage members from becoming frequent members. How do they do this? They would start by putting treadmills and elliptical out of order, or preventative maintenance, and would keep them out of commission until attendance got to manageable levels where the gym did not feel so crowded and thus easier to sell memberships. And getting out of a membership was damn near impossible. The USA famous brand MyPillow and its official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation means nothing since the owner created the group. Now I'm proud to announce that my dick is the official dick of the National Dick Foundation. Pizza Hut. We aren't super sanitary. Extra cheese comes on a cheese pizza. The $10 coupon code is 2155. If you tell them you are an employee and use the $10 coupon code, you get a large for $8.80. Most of us do not care about discounts, and sometimes tack them on to be nice. Edit. If you really want something cool, ask then to use half toppings. Fold and crimp your pan pizza in half before putting it in the oven, and top it with the Parmesan parsley mix. Boom. You now have a pizzone. Also, stuffed crust pan pizzas totally exist for employees. I take donations at Goodwill. We throw away a good 90% of what we get. I know people who use Goodwill or Salvation Army as a garbage dump. I'm not surprised. Once upon a time I worked at a Goodwill. People think the clothes that are sold are washed. The clothes are not washed. I once was putting stuff away and found a dirty menstrual pad stuck to the crotch of a pair of jeans. Yeah. Definitely not washed. I work for a mortgage company. 2 things. 1. If you're being foreclosed upon and can afford an attorney, fight it. The number of foreclosures that could have been invalidated if the borrower did something, as opposed to not showing up at all, which is what most do, is higher than one would think. 2. If you refinance, sell your house, or pay off your mortgage, get a copy of your lien release, preferably the recorded one. I can't tell you how many phone calls I get where a sale is being held up because a lien release was never prepared. I work at a very large farming company that grows and packages a certain vegetable, hint, Bugs Bunny. The store brand and the private label brand right next to it are from the same field and there is no difference between the product in it. I worked at Subway, which is franchised, so I doubt this is the same for every Subway you visit. But when the meat is defrosted to be used, we had like 3 days to sell it. After that we'd have to throw it away. The franchise owner and area manager would often intimidate staff into keeping the meat on sale for up to 7 days to cut costs. I reported them to corporate, of course. I work as a sailing instructor at a summer camp. The camp is run at a yacht club, and instructors take kids aged 8-16 out on the water to learn how to sail. Out of the 20 instructors, maybe 3 of them actually have any idea how to sail, and 2 of us have actual sailing certifications. Used to work at a water park. 9 times out of 10 when the pool is shut down for maintenance or low chlorine levels. I recently started working for a cleaning firm. My boss basically said, it doesn't actually have to be clean. It just has to look clean. Yeah. What I meant was it doesn't have to be sanitized. It just has to look clean. English is not my first language, so I didn't realize there was a significant difference. Pretty much my motto as a kid every time my mom told me to clean my room. You don't have to get a GED. It's just one type of high school equivalency. But GED is synonymous with that concept so people don't know there are other options. Pearson likes it that way because they can charge $120 per test, with most of that money going to Pearson. Pearson doesn't want you to know that. Depending on availability, you can also take the HISAT or the TASC battery of tests for half the price or less. Until a few years ago, before Pearson stepped in, The GED costs $10 to $20 in most places. Edit. Not all colleges accept all forms of high school equivalency. And often the HISAT or TASC can be almost as expensive as the GED. Unfortunately, it's complicated and you have to do your research. Depending on where you live, you might be screwed either way. Added context because I didn't expect this to blow up. For decades the GED was dirt cheap because people who need a GED are usually broke. And then magically when education giant Pearson showed up, everybody had to charge 10 times as much because one of the easiest ways to get rich in America is to exploit poor people. I work at a big store in the Netherlands and at the end of every advertisement week we have to make sure the shelves are almost empty so it will look like almost everything's sold out and the products we sell are popular. In reality we still have a lot in the stockroom but there's way people will buy it faster because 1. It's on sale, 2. It's almost sold out, 3. It's a popular product, 4. They think the company as a whole is doing a great job. It isn't really a big secret but I thought it's quite funny. Edit. The regular shelves are well stocked. I only meant the shelves that are for the advertised products of that week. This is why customers ask if you have more in the back and then employees get mad. Our Chinese manufacturers will be more than willing to supply us with a certificate assuring us and our clients that the cardboard and paper packaging for our new line of electronics is 100% recycled and eco-friendly. 1000% bullshit. Former Subway employee. We put light mayonnaise in both bottles because it's cheaper than normal mayonnaise. Back in 2013, Sierra Nevada had a failure in the landing gear of the Dream Chaser spacecraft during an unmanned flight test. The video cut out right before it touched down. They claimed there was some minor damage. I never actually saw the video but folks I knew who did said it was quite spectacular. With the spacecraft tumbling over and over, pieces flying everywhere, etc. Anyone who was found in possession of the entire video would be immediately fired. There were a lot of other things about that spacecraft that were very shady, with very poor quality controls and design practices. Big technology companies providing really slick services, especially where you buy things online, make it look like they really have their shit together. Most of them don't. Their back-end systems are held together by virtual rubber bands and glue and their staff stumble from one fire to another because the management teams never stopped trying to develop new features to allow technical debt to be repaid. The public-facing end is just fancy enough to hide that all from you. This is as true for Oz as it is for Ticketmaster. This is true of academia in general but you have no idea how much money textbook companies spend on wooing professors. Just to give a couple examples. The last time I went to the big conference in my field, which was held in Atlanta that year, Bedford Street, Martin rented out the Atlanta Braves Stadium. Bussed everyone at the conference there, about 2,000 people. Gave us a free buffet that stretched through 3 rooms. We were up in the box seats, with an open bar and they opened up all the games in the back hallways for us to play. Pearson's party was far more modest. They rented out the Coke Museum. Gave us all free tours and their free buffet only stretched through 1 freaking room, but with much classier food, but still had an open bar. Just in case you were wondering why those textbooks of yours are so expensive. FCK Pearson. So while my math lab sucks balls in every way, shape and form, they're busy renting out the Coca-Cola Center and giving people fancy dinners. I worked at Best Buy warehouse. One tip. When buying a TV, make sure the staff in store open and check the screen first before you take it out of store, no matter the size of the TV. During busy season like Christmas, Boxing Day or Black Friday we will drop a lot of products during shipping and packing, so yeah. Domino's pizza tracker isn't accurate. Employees can enter shit on the computer to make your order to appear at a different stage than it actually is. The horror. Edit. Apparently some stores show where the driver is. Those are, to my knowledge, pretty accurate. The thing the employees change is the step in the series of steps to make and deliver your pizza. For example, the manager doesn't like the orders sitting on the shelf. The tracker says it's passing quality inspection, sitting on a heated rack. so he will dispatch the order before a driver is there to take it. It makes the stores out the door time more impressive for the OERs. One of my Facebook friends interviewed for a teaching position at the school district I work for. She was nervous and awaited the news with 100% more anxiety than she should have. The teacher shortage we have here is so bad we'll pretty much take anyone that's completed their certification, including people that have just obtained it and have never stepped foot in a classroom before. The sad thing is, I believe the shortage has more to do with how the state handles education and how teachers are treated. They demand higher and higher expectations with no increase in wages. The top of the industry get paid very well. Teachers get paid dick. Then the good teachers who have been doing it for a while and are doing well are being pushed out because they cost too much. What you are left with are a bunch of inexperienced teachers being pushed very hard and are doing the best they can with what little they get. Printer cleaning kits are just cotton swabs and isopropyl alcohol. I work for a Fortune 100 financial office. I wouldn't trust 95% of the people with a cent of my money. There are a few decent people, but the rest don't give a shit. They want the commission and the policy count. And a ton of them have either been sued, given strikes on their records, investigated for fraud, and or are not allowed to use wording due to their past behavior. I think my manager might have been f-king with me. But when I worked at Jimmy John's we weren't supposed to tell anyone that we make our tuna salad with soy sauce. He said I would be fired instantly if I were to tell a customer. In retrospect I think this claim is kind of dubious sounding though. Nor another dude above, top rated-ish, mentioned soy sauce being the secret ingredient of their tuber sandwich saw and signing an NDA to that effect saw but didn't name the chain. Dramatic Inception style tuber, for RMP. I tell you not to get a Chinese power supply to your computer, but we sell Chinese power supplies. I work for a charity. It's not really charity. In fact, the founders just use the money to bribe people into supporting their brand and flying all over the country giving speeches to big business and crowds of morons. Edit. For clarification, owners are trying to get into a very big house this November that they farm out their call centers to third-party companies that pay $11 HR. And they have access to all your account info. Former sandwich shop employee. They put soy sauce in the tuber salad. There. That's the secret recipe. Manager made me sign an NDA about it. Spice sauce. SHHH. Edit. Misspelled. Tuber salad doot doot. Edit. Holy shit. Gold. I worked for a major investment company. I won't say their name, but let's just call them a something yeti. And for absolutely no reason I'm trying to remember the brother of Raul Castro's first name. Well, they worked side by side with a Chinese company that was complicit in the genocide in Darfur. And we were informed that if an investor asked about this fact, we were to tell them in corporate speak, if you don't like it, take your money elsewhere. If you order just a cheese pizza at Pizza Hut, it already gets extra cheese for free. This is important, ladies and gents. I sell cars. Most of the time you won't find the OTD price on the paper because they want you to get to finance and include your warranty in the payment. The verbiage makes it sound free. It is not free. I work for a casino. Pro tip. Don't go. Work with a lot of audio and video equipment. That $50 cable to hook up your home television and sound? The professional grade one? The one that assures the crispest video and sound? Buy the $10 one. Anesthesiologist here. A large part of my job is to protect you from the surgeon who doesn't care about your 5 heart attacks and stable angina and the fact that you ate breakfast when instructed not to. If your case is cancelled or delayed, there is almost always a good reason. The surgeon will make it seem like it is an anesthesiologist's fault, but it is because they likely didn't care enough to ask about your medical history, didn't do the proper pre-operative workup, or just don't care. Other than that, I have no secrets to report. Intraoperative awareness is exceedingly rare. 1. 20,000. I won't let people make fun of you or talk inappropriately while you're under. And we take physician medication diversion drug addiction extremely seriously. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. The sustainability policy is not about environment at all. It's about cost reduction. I don't think anybody believes that companies are putting in less plastic in their bottles or washing your towels at the hotel less because they care. The diamond you bought is not from the place it says it is from. It takes one phone call to get a Kimberley certificate and the origin of the stone is never verified. The diamond industry is shady at FCK. The garlic butter we put on our pizza crust is, in fact, garlic margarine. There's no dairy in it at all. I'll get customers calling in every once in a while who ask for soy cheese and no garlic butter. And if I'm feeling nice, I'll let them in on the secret they can enjoy that garlic goodness without worrying. Garlic butter just sounds more appetizing than the truth. Editing for clarification. Disclaimer. I work for a local pizza joint. Not a chain. I deliver. I have nothing to do with making any food whatsoever. I know butter is healthier and that margarine isn't vegan. I don't care. You're ordering a F King pizza. If health is your main concern, you done F-ked up already. Son. I can't believe it's not butter. I'm a casino dealer in France. And like in every casino in France, the people above are not very keen on telling the customers that the tips that they give us don't actually go in our pockets. They're used to pay our salaries. And if the total amount of tips is above the total of all salaries in the month, which it never is, the difference is split between us. I've been working in the business for 10 years and there has been a single occasion where I gladly received €150 due to tips. And that was in the summer of 2006. In other words, if you leave me a tip at the table, I'll be paid exactly the same amount at the end of the month. Music industry here. If you ever want to get backstage of a show, buy a Motorola two-way radio with the remote speaker accessory. Wear all black. Walk past security with a pissed off look and yelling into your radio. 9 times out of 10 security won't say a word. Edit. Another secret. Backstage is not anywhere near as cool as you imagine it in your head. A whole lot of working, napping, working, laughing, sleeping. I'm an EMT. We are legally obligated to take you to any hospital, anywhere you want. Any single one. And then BSP. Edit. Holy hell. I didn't think anyone actually read any of my comments. Okay. So I should clarify this. I was speaking about seriously extreme technicalities. I work in South Jersey in a town 20 minutes outside Philadelphia. Going into Philly is even a stretch. We will go there for severe and specific emergencies. Our EMS works under protocols dictated by the hospital we choose to follow. In this case, Cooper in Camden. J. In protocols and taught by the state. Yes, we do have to take you where you ask. However, no, there is no way we're going more than an hour away. We will gladly arrange a long distance medical transport for you. But there is no hospital in the area that cannot treat any possible ailment you have more than adequately. I have a town of 40,000 people I'll look after and there's only 2-3 ambulances on at any given time. We simply can't afford to be out of town for so long. And then BSP. TL. Doctor, we will transport you anywhere you want within reason. Worked injection molding almost my entire life. My uncle and father rebuild molds in a mold repair shop. Almost every mold that has a made in the USA text just somewhere in it will have it removed. A lot of companies do not want their parts saying made in the USA. Their reasoning is if you know it was made here, then you know there is someone to sue. If it's made in some shop in China, you're less likely to pursue legal action, whether bogus or justified. Our breadsticks suck and pasta is dirt cheap. Your passwords are stored in plain text. I work in market research and quality and assurance. I essentially review all of the data our interviewers collect from respondents. Aside from that, I also edit the data so it makes sense because some people say wild things. I also recode responses and often replace open-ended responses with what I feel is appropriate. Surveys that were ended too soon due to the respondent hanging up, I go into those and complete them. I don't even call the respondent back, I literally put whatever I want. We do surveys for political issues like upcoming elections, customer satisfaction studies, and for colleges, universities. We even have a reoccurring study that collects data from people who were impacted from the BP oil spill. We recently picked up a job the IRS wants us to conduct too. It really opened my eyes to look at where data comes from and how honest that company is who collected and validated the data. Edit. I work at Target, and if you find an item of more than 2 quantity at a cheaper section, we will be forced to give you that item for the cheaper amount. For example, if you find a $20 shirt in a place where there's $10 shirts, we will have to give you the $20 shirts for $10. You're welcome. When I worked at Target, during my orientation, I realized I would not be there long. The orientation was 6 hours long. 2 of those hours were literally a video about how evil unions are and why we should never ever sign a union card or organize as a store. They made the union rep out to look like a drug dealer from a mid-90s czar trying to get us to sign a card or whatever. I laughed at first, because I'm educated and I know better. I'm part of a union, and as much of a pain in the ass it can be, it is totally worth it, but I became angry when I looked around the room and realized that everyone else in the room was 19ish and taking in every word, and probably had yet to have any experience in a unionized work environment. It's free lasagne at Caribus this week. Just walk in and ask for a free slice of lasagne. There's a button in the computer for it now. That. Even though I have a PhD, my total wages to teach 4 college classes each semester are below the poverty line. Whenever you order from Domino's Pizza, the reason McDonald's sweet tea is so good is because for every 1 gallon of tea it's 1 pound of sugar, brewed 4 gallons at a time, and in that 4 gallons they pour a 4-pound bag of sugar. Golf course. All the cart keys work for all the carts. Slip one in your pocket. Golf cart for life. I work for a pharmaceutical company. Don't just buy some expensive tea. You can buy the same medicine for so much cheaper elsewhere. I started ordering some of my meds from Canada. In the US, my insurance rate for the meds my son needed was $200 for 30 pills. I get 90 from Canada for $90. Edit. To find these places, they do not hide. A quick Google search will find some. Plus the approved online pharmacy listing site that I got more than enough info from. I don't work there anymore. Crappy winter job so I could pay college, but I used to work on my city's biggest grocery store candy shop supplier. Around Christmas every year some politicians like to give away free basic food packages and candy bags to poor communities surrounding the city for charity, free publicity for them and for the company. But here's the catch. The candy was mostly expired or about to expire. And some of the food too. But no one would notice at first sight because we had to erase some products' expiration dates with thinner and alcohol. I placed an anonymous complaint to our version of the BBB, but it never went through. FCK them and FCK that company. Bank HQ. Thinking about laundering money? If you get away with it for a long time, there's a 99% chance that means the bank intentionally let this happen. Monitoring you. Racking up more and more legal slam against you. I work for a large disaster relief blood donation company. The big red plus sign. When you donate blood to get your free Chipotle voucher. Or to get a ticket to the zoo. The company thanks you for the donation. On the back end of things, we break the blood down into different components. Red blood cells, plasma, platelets, and sell each of them. Liquor-reduced red cells get sold to a local hospital for $150-$400. Plasma for $100-$175. And platelets can be processed and sold for a few thousand. depending on blood type and need at the time. I get that it does save lives and it is necessary. But it doesn't sit right with a lot of people the amount of money that is made from a donation. If you use a mobile web app and it's free, it means you're the product. Hell, even if you pay for it, you're still the product. Did you know that thousands of applications use SDKs that send your mobile device ID and your activity to a central database? And that database uses digital fingerprinting to tie your activity across all of the apps you use? They then turn around and market that data to other app developers. So if I tie my app into this database, I can find out what you do, like purchase, view, say, watch, listen to, in all of the other apps you use as well. I know your kink. I used to work for Comcast doing back-end order verification, confirmation, and correction. Basically, I fixed all the FCK ups that regular idiot agents made. What they really don't want you to know is that no single department really has the whole picture of what's going on with an account at the basic agent level. My department was all managers and we were the ones doing SAP callbacks. On top of this, there is no standardization on account notes, so all the departments have separate shorthand for putting notes on accounts. Thus, if you talk to billing and then sales, most likely the sales agent will have no idea what the billing notes mean. It's a cluster of CK and I'm glad I'm not part of that show anymore.